we'll dive into game four between the Lightning and the Montreal Canadiens. So we had the Montreal Canadiens win game four by the score of 3-2 in overtime. So with the win, Montreal is still currently down in the series 3-1 against the Tampa Bay Lightning. But this was one of the first games throughout the entirety of the Stanley Cup Finals where the Montreal Canadiens won and played like a really good hockey team. This was the first game that I saw them apply constant pressure to the Lightning from beginning to end. I remember I was watching the game with my dad, and throughout the entire course of regulation, so through the first three periods, I thought realistically the Canadians won about 45 minutes of regulation time, and then they were able to put in the game winning goal in overtime to give them the win. So I remember I mentioned yesterday about the Lightning had a very good chance to sweep this series from Montreal simply just because I thought the Lightning were a much better roster from top to bottom. And while I still hold that to be true, Montreal came to play today because they had nothing else to lose and they were able to score against Andre Vasilevsky, which is quite difficult because Andre Vasilevsky is one of the best goaltenders in the NHL, and they were able to put 3 goals against him. So I think when you combine what they were able to do defensively, basically limiting Tampa's offense to get into any sort of rhythm whatsoever, and you combine that with what they were able to do offensively, you get the result that you saw in game four. And if Montreal wants to take any sort of takeaways from this game, I think they would have to take away the fact that okay, going into game five, they're going to have to be just as aggressive, and they're going to have to apply pressure like they did in game four if they want to make this series competitive again. Even though that they played a pretty solid game four, they're still currently down 3-1 in the series. They have a long road to get back into this series. But if they look back at this game, they may have a game plan or they may have a blueprint to maybe figuring out some of the Lightning's deficiencies to get back into the series in game five. I'm not going to give any sort of prediction for game five. That's a couple days away from now. And with the whole tropical storm off of the coast of Florida, I don't know how the series is going to be affected because of that. We'll kind of see how that goes in the next couple days. But Montreal definitely showed up. And if they continue to play like they did in game four going into game five, I think they'll definitely have a good shot to be possibly victorious in game five. But I do expect the Lightning to make adjustments going into game five as well. I think they missed some great opportunities. Their power play was not really effective throughout the entirety of game four. So you have to give a lot of credit to Montreal's defense for being able to kill the power plays. And the way that I see it moving forward, I think both teams are going to make the adjustments necessary for game five, and it should be a really fun matchup going into the latter part of this week.